thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
It is the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game. It's your host, Joe Spadoni, and you got me for the next hour, leading you into the morning roast, and you're not going to want to miss the morning roast. Yeah, I'm starting my show off by doing a tease for another show. That's how much of a team player I am. All right? Joe, I'm Ben Zobrist of this station. A's legend, and we'll get into the A's and say it ain't so. Oakland, it looks like it's finally going to they're ripping the Band-Aid off, if you will, in regards to the A's and where they will be playing going forward. I'll explain that as the show goes on, but you got Steve Bleepin Kerr, 7:30, morning roast. He had to push his flight back yesterday. Something was going on. He got in late, what have you. Couldn't join the afternoon show with Willard and FP. FP filling in for Dan Dibley. So we're like, yeah, we'll take him in the morning. I even texted Nahegan. I was like, hey, if he needs to even go earlier, enjoy the pregame show with Sam and I. How about that? What? It's appointment radio, people, at 5:01 a.m. All right? But 7:30, Stephen Kerr. Some call him Steve. I prefer to be more traditional with it. What are we going to ask him today? What are the boys going to be asking Steve? What do you want to hear from Steve Kerr? We had a lot of questions, and for me, heading into the play-in game, as we take a look at the Western Conference standings right now, and 888-957-9570, weigh in on the conversation, join in the conversation, please. We don't talk at you, we talk with you. Shout out Steiny. Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570. Also, hit us up on YouTube. We are streaming live on Twitch and YouTube all day long. Search 95.7 The Game. Ring that bell. Become a subscriber. Every single video we post out there, like it, people. We need your likes because we like you. It's all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. The Western Conference, as it stands right now on April 4th. Oh, it's my brother's birthday. I got to send a text. Yeah, I send texts. I don't call and say happy birthday. I don't do that. Maybe for my mom or dad, but siblings, I got 9 of them. A text will suffice. Warriors, 10 seed, taking on the Houston Rockets tonight. They have a 3-game lead over Houston now. And it's pretty much over already. I mean, you can count it as a 4-game lead because of the tiebreaker. So really, I mean, yeah, for all intents and purposes, it ends if you beat them tonight, but it's over. If we want to gas the game up, sure. Dylan Brooks, Terry, whatever the hell you want to call him, Eason. Some nobody who was calling out the Warriors just a week ago. Yeah, it's a wrap. It's over. It's Jover. It's one of my favorite memes, by the way. Some people just send me that with the Joe Biden one, just because I have the same name. It makes me chuckle, not going to lie. At the 9th spot, right ahead of the Dubs, the Los Angeles Lakers, who have a 2-game lead now over the Golden State Warriors, but only 1 ahead of them in the loss column. And that's what we want to check out, the loss column. 44-33. They've won 3 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Keeping pace out there in the play-in. Got the Kings at the 8th spot. Pelicans 7. Suns now. All of a sudden, the Suns are out of the play-in. Pelicans landing in that 7th spot. They've lost 3 in a row. They are scuffling. And now things can get even more interesting. You start looking at the Pelicans schedule going forward. They got the Spurs tomorrow. I'm not sleeping on the Spurs, though. Not totally. They just gave Denver all they could handle. Wembanyama, who Draymond Green says should be the defensive player of the year as a rookie, I gotta look into that. I don't know if that's ever happened before. That would be, as Draymond says, absolutely incredible.
Absolutely incredible.
So they got the Spurs tomorrow. They got the Suns on Sunday. Massive implications there, as I just said, as the Suns have the tiebreak over them currently to take that crucial 6th spot. Then they got the Blazers. They stink. Then they got another massive game against the Kings. And check out this last 3-game stretch. I mean, it really does all come down to the Pelicans here. Next Thursday, April 11th, week from today, at Sacramento. Then on the back end of a back-to-back at Golden State next Friday. And they wrap up the season in New Orleans against the Lake Show. I mean, they couldn't have drawn it up any better when they were making these schedules prior to the year to have all these different scenarios in play potentially when it comes to the plan. And this is what Adam Silver and the league wanted when they added these last 2 spots, the 9th and the 10th. You know, I was against it early on, but to have these games have meaning towards the end of the year is what they wanted. They need more eyeballs. They need more viewers. And how do you do that? You have to create urgency. You have to want it. I mean, a Lakers-Pelicans game means nothing if the Lakers are the 9th spot and they have no chance of getting to the 8th. It's just LeBron's probably going to be out. He's wrestling the right. Like, who cares? Now, there could be implications in that Lakers-Pelicans game on the last day of the year where, oh man, if the Lakers win this one, maybe the Pelicans get knocked to the 9th spot. So, awful lot to happen here in the last 2 weeks of the regular season. And it starts tonight, that final stretch. Can the Warriors keep this streak going? They won 5 in a row, looking to make it 6 against Houston. We'll have all that coverage right here on 95.7 The Game. Again, Warriors-Rockets tonight in Houston. So tip off there, 5 o'clock. Warriors Live will be starting at 4. And again, they'll have Warriors wrap up after the game, taking all your calls and texts. And then you got me in the morning time to break it all down. Warriors, Rockets, end the Rockets season. Just put them out of their misery. I think that's what the Warriors are going to do tonight. I'm not scared of Dylan Brooks. I'm not frightened by Freddie VanVleet, although Fred VanVleet, in that 2019 finals, my guy, and I remember he just had a baby, right? So they're talking about that new dad strength. He was hitting every single big shot for that team. Don't get it twisted. Kawhi Leonard was the best player on that team. He deserved the finals MVP. But if there was a finals MVP for just the biggest shots of the series that either quelled the other team's momentum or catapulted their own teams, that was Fred VanVleet. So you're going to put his season and put his team out of their misery tonight. And Jalen Green, yeah. It's Terry Eason or Tari Eason? It's Tari. Is it Tari or Terry? I guess it'd be Tari, right? Yeah. Who knows? Is he even going to play? Is that guy even playing this season? Did all that calling out, and now it's what? Warriors come out to play? Well, they have. The Rockets, they didn't come out to play. They've been struggling. They couldn't afford another loss, and they lost 2 of them in a row. Night. See you later. It's all she wrote. All right. Anthony Slater, as he does each and every week, joined the morning roast. And Anthony Slater obviously covers the team for The Athletic at an extremely high level. And he's also our 95.7 The Game Warriors insider. He had an interesting thought in regards to how much longer the Warriors can build around Stephen Curry. And this is all off of what Mike Bassick said on the morning roast just a day prior. Mike Bassick, obviously a host for 105.3 The Fan out in Dallas, our sister station, Odyssey station, former MLB pitcher, gave up Bonds' record-breaking home run. Love Mike. He doesn't believe that you can build around Stephen Curry anymore. So, Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, they asked the guy that knows everything Warriors inside and out, Anthony Slater, his thoughts on that.
I think that's needs to be reassessed on almost a monthly basis right now. It feels like we're at the fringe level of, like you said, there's a difference between being the best player on an NBA team and being the best player on a championship legitimate team. He needs a better number. He needs a more productive, probably younger number two, particularly number two scoring wing. I still think it can be done, but you're probably going to need to stay deep into the tax to do that. And I don't know that that's in the cards this summer. So I think they face a real uphill battle, and I'm skeptical they can truly build a top 3, top 4 team in the league, real championship contender over the next 12 months. And then you're starting to talk about Steph becoming 37, 38, 39, and then it becomes a lot harder.
All right. Just going for let's do his last 5 games. I think that's fair. All right. Against the Dallas Mavericks in a win. He shot and made 5 out of 18. Not his greatest. Then he had, check that. My thing's all over the place. This thing is like crashing. What are we doing here? Whoa. Let's just go here. His splits. Last 10. Averaging 31 minutes, shooting 43%, 38% from beyond the arc. For him, that is down. 43% overall, 38% from beyond the arc. That's not Stephen Curry. He's averaging 23 points, 5 assists, 4 boards. Again, last 10 games. Okay. They're going to need more from that if they want to make a deep run. And Slater went to talk about yesterday, and it's true. He goes through these spells. Stephen Curry, listen, he's a top 10 player in the history of the league, one of the greatest ever. It's okay that he shows some signs of wear and tear. That's okay. The question, though, going forward for Golden State is whether he's good enough to be building a team around still. And you heard it from Anthony there. They need a number 2. Specifically a wing and a scorer. Now, is that going to be Jonathan Kuminga? I don't think so. Is he a number 2 on a championship team? Not now, not next year probably. Could he, blossom into something like that? Possibly. That's why this year's playoff run is so important. Can Jonathan Kuminga establish himself if this team goes on a run as the number 2 option on this team going forward? That would be massive. That's the number 1 question for me heading towards the play-in and hopefully the playoffs for the Warriors. Is if Jonathan Kuminga can solidify himself as a number 2 on this team. 888-957-9570. What is your biggest question mark for this team as they head towards the play-in game? Again, they're essentially have a 4-game lead over the Rockets. They won against them tonight. It's over. It's already over even if they lose this game, to be honest with you. It would suck to lose it because you would like to try to get the 9th spot at the least to get home court advantage in the play-in. Lakers again right now, 1 ahead of you in the loss column, that is. 2 games over you overall, but if they lose tonight, it's basically a wrap there. If you look at the Lakers' schedule, again, they've been playing well, although they blew like 3 different 15-point leads yesterday against the Washington Wizards, who, as we know, stink. But you know what? You got to win the games. It doesn't matter how it happens, whether it's against Houston, whether it's against the Spurs, whether it's against the Hornets, you got to win. The Warriors will try to be taking care of business. And I'm interested to see if Steve Kerr, who again joins the morning roast at 7:30, thinks the team is peaking at the perfect moment, or if he believes, hey, listen, we've won the games we were supposed to win. We took advantage of some of the teams, who had some players out. We were playing against some teams that are going to be lottery teams. The win against the Mavericks was crucial, but we'll see going forward. Maybe he says that. But I got to believe he thinks this team is healthy and gelling at the perfect time. And again, Jonathan Kuminga returning after a 4-game hiatus tonight against the Houston Rockets after dealing with some knee tendonitis. And that's my question. Can Jonathan Kuminga solidify himself as this team's number 2 option going forward? And you still might not think that's good enough for this team in the summer, and that's fine. But at least I know the future of this team is in good hands. because you got two rookies that you hit a home run on them. Not a grand slam, but a home run in Brandon Pajemski and Trace Jackson Davis. And how much does Steve Kerr trust in those rookies heading into the play-in game? I do wonder that, because just going off last year, and they weren't rookies, but Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga, not a lot of playing time. Moody in spurts, and God bless Moses Moody, who had to come in relief of Andrew Wiggins in that Game 6 against the Lakers and have the assignment of guarding LeBron James in a potential closeout situation. Yeah, that wasn't good. That wasn't pretty. And you know what? LeBron James is going to make many people, including Moses Moody, look foolish. So there's no shame in that. It's like getting in the ring with Mike Tyson and getting knocked out within the first round. Hey, you got in there with Mike Tyson, man. All right? That's an award on its own. Good morning to all of you just getting off work, just getting ready for work, getting ready for the weekend, maybe doing a long weekend. Good for you. I think it's going to rain today. So just be safe out there on the roadways. Be slick. I mean, don't be riding on anyone's, bumper. Don't be doing anything stupid. Don't be texting and driving. If you have a text you want to text me on the Xfinity mobile text line, either do voice to text in your car or pull over and send it. Driving over the Bay Bridge, just go to Trevor. Oh, man, Spadoni. I just got to give Spadoni this Warriors take, man. I got to give it to him. He's got to read it. Pull over and do it. Do anything dumb. All right? I learned the hard way in high school. Speeding, late to school, in the rain. Did a 180 on the highway. Hit the guardrail. Luckily, I didn't hurt anyone. Hydroplaned. I just got my license, I don't know, like 6 months prior. Don't see me speeding in the rain ever again. I learned my lesson, but I was lucky. There's my PSA today. No way. 415 from the Xfinity mobile text line. Philmo Mike was on with Ben Maller at like 1 a.m. What? Oh my, I need to find this. Philmo Mike was on Fox Sports Radio at 1 a.m. with Ben Maller. I used to listen to Ben Maller on the way back because I used to do the butcher shop, obviously, running the board for Covey and Shasky, and Lucas Alexander was the producer there. So whenever we'd get off, depending if it was super late or like if we, it was the end of a Warriors game and we want to do more of that or what have you, it would be Ben Maller. And that guy, I couldn't tell if his voice was just a shtick, if he actually sounded like that. And no, that's who he is to his core. And I guess you got to be a little bit quirky, a little bit out there if you're on that late at night and you're talking to the actual graveyard shifts. And I'm talking about the tail end of the graveyard shifts right now at 5 a.m. Some people just like getting up early and they got to commute and stuff like that. It's somewhat normal hours. 1 a.m., that ain't normal hours for radio. You're getting into the nitty gritty of sports talk. Phil on Ben Maller. That does sound like appointment radio. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all of you on YouTube. Again, search 95.7 The Game, like and subscribe. Kyle Kelly, good morning. Ernie Chavez. Wrestling is dopamine. I love that name. It really is. I saw a WWE cage match ring for sale. It was like a retro one. And I had the exact same one. It was one of those where they re-release and it looks old, but it's still new. But it was like the old packaging is what I've been finding that they've been doing more and more, which I really appreciate. And I got a 4-year-old and he loves to roam the toy aisle in Target. God, I swear to God, we were in there for like 30 minutes though. Like just the toy section. He was just like perusing and it was like, Jade, it's like 7 o'clock. Gotta get the kids home. Stop rushing him. I was like, oh my God. Who else is gonna rush him? Lady, I gotta get up at 5 in the morning. I gotta get up at 3:30 in the morning. We're perusing the toy aisle? Come on. I love you, Jade, and I know she's not gonna be listening to this. God, I hope she doesn't. But good Lord. I was allowed to walk through the toy section for a little bit, and I wasn't getting anything, but at least I was by myself. My mom was walking around doing whatever she needed to do. I gotta watch. He's 4 years old. I gotta watch him. It's a big thing. I say all that to say, I saw the packaging of that wrestling ring, and it just brought back memories. You see a certain toy, you see something, and they trigger a memory that you have. And I remember getting a shot back when getting a shot was normal and I wasn't getting immunized or anything like that, circa 1999. Peak Attitude Era. I was Stone Cold, Kurt Angle, Rock, Mankind, Triple H, anyone you want to name, Shawn Michaels, all those guys. Road Dogg. That was my era, and I loved that stuff. And my mom, after I got my shot, got me one of those wrestling rings, and I never forgot it. So when I saw it in Target, I was like, man, I'm going to text my mom about that. And then she asked, like, is Benny into it? I was like, nah, not really. Haven't really watched wrestling. He's just not really into that stuff. But I say all that to say, the triggering of memories, and I'm going to pivot here to what's going to be taking place now with the Oakland A's. And it looks like this is going to be their last season in Oakland. Either they're going to announce either today, tomorrow, whatever. And this is according to now Carmichael Dave of KHDK, Susan Slusser of the Chronicle. It's looking like it's going to be Sacramento for the next couple of years after this season for the Oakland A's in their home. And I'm just thinking about the memories at the Coliseum. Because it's going to be a slow grind. It's going to be an emotional grind for all those memories at the Coliseum. The Raiders are gone. And that was emotional. And it's kind of funny that the Raiders quarterback now, at least in the depth chart wise, probably the starter. We'll see what they do in the draft. Hopefully they get Michael Penix. Come on. But Gardner Minshew is the quarterback. And as we know, the Jaguars, in which Gardner was drafted to, were the Raiders' last opponent at the Coliseum. Now, the Raiders should have won that game. Derek Carr slid out of bounds. Although he slid inbounds, they called it out of bounds. It was just a BS call. It is what it is. And maybe it was fitting that that was the final, screw job from the refs to the Raiders at the Coliseum, if you will. But Gardner Minshew was the quarterback there, and they beat the Raiders. And he talked about that in his, little presser when he signed with the team. He's like, yeah, I loved every second of that win. I'll remember it forever because I was going at it with the fans and everything like that. And it was just a great atmosphere. The final game there, the opposing quarterback, Gardner Minshew, he even acknowledged the atmosphere there. The atmosphere of A's games, when it was packed, when it was the last game of the regular season, and you're taking on, the Texas Rangers, who have been dominating the last few seasons. And you got Josh Hamilton out there, right? You got all those big boys. And he drops the fly ball in center field, and the place goes nuts. And then you got Grant Balfour, and then you got the money ball streak. So it's going to be filled with memories this season because as soon as they move to Sacramento, it's just not going to be the same. And I don't compare it to the Raiders in football because for me, that's a little different because of the scarcity of the games, because they had been to LA in between and they came back. Now they're in Vegas. It's different. And maybe for you, it's not. Maybe it's the same. Maybe you're not going to root for that team. But for the A's, they were Oakland. They were the first, team of the major three sports that moved here to win a championship. They had one of the greatest runs in the history of the sport, in the history of any sport, winning 3 consecutive World Series in the 70s. They went to another 3 consecutive World Series in the 80s and into the early 90s. The Bash Bros, Canseco, Dave Stewart, Tony La Russa, Mark McGuire, all those guys. Dennis Eckersley, local guy. And then the glory days started to fade, and then it turned into the Moneyball era. And Billy Beane, and obviously the movie, that's what they're going to be most known for. Brad Pitt. But that was special. And then they'd have a couple bad periods, then they'd be good again. Then they have a couple bad periods, then they'd be good again. Until the final iteration a couple seasons ago, where they tried to go all in again. They got Starling Marte, remember? They got Jan Gomes, amongst others. And, they tried and they failed. And little did we know that was probably going to be the last enjoyable season of A's baseball with Bob Melvin. And then he went to San Diego, bring in Mark Kotsay. God love Mark Kotsay. He has been given a very raw deal right now. I mean, they are just an embarrassment to watch on the field, and I feel for the players. It's not their fault. They are being asked to do something that they are in no position to do right now. Most of these guys should probably be in the AAA, but they're asked to be up in the big leagues and play against real major leaguers. Now, they got a couple guys, but a couple guys isn't going to make much of a difference. They've been playing the Red Sox hard as of late, but they had 5 errors in one of the games early on. Is the Sacramento community going to embrace them the next couple of years? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, the Oakland community hasn't because they haven't put the product out there. What makes you think Sacramento is going to do the same thing? They'd rather go to River Cats games for the Giants. And by the way, River Cats used to be the A's affiliate before the Giants took it over, as we all know. And then we're the Nashville Sounders and the Las Vegas Aces. So we can pick it up on the other side, 888-957-9570. If you have any thoughts on the A's, you know, they're going to announce it here probably within the next day or two, according to reports. Their final season in Oakland. They're going to be playing in Sacramento. And after the Sacramento Kings, and Sacramento almost got that franchise taken away from them until Vivek came in, got a new stadium, and now Light the Beam, and now they're fun. They're one of the, funnest teams to watch in the sport. De'Aaron Fox, Spadoni, we make fun of them, but they're a good tandem. Sucks that they lost Monk and Herter. But Vivek is, I guess, boys with John Fisher, and he's like, you know what? Come over here. We'll take on this franchise. We'll give you guys an out. We'll help you over here. I don't know. Something about that rubs me the wrong way because Vivek knows more than anyone about a community losing a team that he's now receiving that team and opening that team that's defecting from another market, that's getting torn away from that market. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel? 888-957-9570. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. More Warriors, more A's, more whatever you want to talk about on 95.7 The Game.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know? covering ongoing activities and historical presentations. Go to sfhistory.org and discover the San Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Now, back to the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
Next question.
Oh, Bonte's listening. Those Star Wars drops are for him. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Love you, Bonte. It's okay. He doesn't have to like Star Wars. It's not a big deal. It's okay. And he'll say not that he doesn't like it. He just has never seen it, which is fine. He doesn't have to be. Hey, to each their own, man. I like Star Trek. I like Star Wars. I like Starship Troopers. Actually, I haven't seen Dune. I haven't seen either of them. I saw the original one way back when. It was kind of trippy. I guess this one's more loyal to book. I don't read books. I'm just going to keep it a buck. I read articles. I don't read books. You might say, Spadoni, I'm going to judge you for that. And that's fine. Audio books, I'm not mad at. Again, this is an auditory medium. Speaking to you, lovely people. We're just getting off work, getting ready for work. Good morning. Pre-game show, Joe Spadoni. You got me for the next 26 minutes before I hand it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky, who, by the way, 2 hours from now at 7:30, they'll be talking to Steve Kerr, head coach of your Golden State Warriors. So you will not want to miss that. Steve Kerr, 7:30, morning roast. It doesn't happen often. Usually on Willard and Dibbs. Had to push back to this morning. So we got a special appearance of Steve Kerr on with Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. But before the break, we were talking about the A's, and it's looking like reports are they're going to announce, soon, within today or tomorrow probably, that they will be playing their games over in Sacramento after this season, and probably be the last year that the A's play in Oakland. Ever. Which sucks. It hurts. If you grew up an A's fan, even if you aren't an A's fan, like anytime a professional team has to leave, those are people's jobs. That's money in that city. That's just leaving. And then the memories that have been created there, the bonds that you have with you and your family members, the community, in regards, it's something that brings us together. And it actually has made me happy to see all the people coming together to dunk on Dave Cavill, John Fisher, and Rob Manfred. Kind of like my guy Oreo Cookie in Oakland wants to do. What's going on, Oreo? You're on the pregame show, Joe Spadoni.
Hey, what's going on, man? I was just, tripping out on how these MLB teams and the commissioner is okay with the A's just, sitting back and not spending money when teams like the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and even the Giants are out there trying to win at somewhat, as far as spending money on players. And I go way back, man, in the mid-'80s when we had 3 back-to-back Rookie of the Years, Walt Weiss, Canseco, McGuire. Now I got a 13-year-old son. He loves the A's, but he doesn't know who his favorite player is because they don't even stick around for so long, man. It's just crazy.
It is, Oreo Cookie. I appreciate you calling in, 888-957-9570. That's the thing. I got a 4-year-old son. I mean, do I take him to a game this year knowing, hey, we're never going to see him again in Oakland? Do I even do that? And he'll probably be a Giants fan if he's even into baseball and stuff like that, which is fine. I won't strip that from him. Because the difference, again, because I'm a massive Raider fan. Huge. Love the Raiders. That's my team. Even when they are in Vegas, I could wrap my head around it a little bit more because they have moved before to Los Angeles. They are a national brand. Football is just different than baseball it is. Now, I'm sure there'll be a lot of Niner fans that the Niners moved to, I don't know, Portland or something. Would you still be a Niners fan? Maybe. Again, football is different. Baseball, it's a long grind. There's a lot of games you can go to. It really is reflective more of a community to me, the baseball team. Like we saw that with the Giants. And when this city wraps their arms around a certain team when it comes to all three of the major sports, football, basketball, and baseball, it's no question. They embrace the Giants harder than either of those other teams. And we love Stephen Curry. And we love Brock Purdy. We love all those guys. But there's something special, and they used to have it, Magic, right? Even year Magic, all that sort of stuff. Now we can miss me with that as the Giants just got swept against the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's early. I wasn't mad at the effort. The Dodgers are just on another tier, kind of like how the Nuggets are on another tier in the West, and the Warriors have had a lot of close games with them. It's just the Nuggets are better. The Dodgers are better. That's okay. You don't have to win the division. I still think they'll win 90 games. But there is something to be said about a community coming together at a baseball game more than any other sport. And you saw that with Oakland. And I love the diversity of those crowds at Oakland because they are more diverse than any other crowd in baseball. When it comes to religion, when it comes to ethnicity, when it comes to eating habits, shout out vegans, when it comes to anything. They are the most diverse crowds I have ever been a part of. And when that community came together to watch an A's game, it was something special to watch. It doesn't matter if they were playing in a dump. It was our dump. Coliseum's ours. That's fine. Yeah, they had the infield dirt when we played football games. We love that. Made it better for Rolando McClain to do a pile driver on you in that infield dirt. Speaking of Rolando McClain. Didn't know I was going to use that reference today.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Thank you. That was Obi-Wan Kenobi, by the way, Bonte. He goes by Ben as well. Shout out Benjamin. From the Xfinity mobile text line, 510, the Dune books are long. Yeah, see, I'm out on that. Maybe a nice, like if I can get a good narrator for an audiobook, it's just so much easier for me. Just walk around, listen to that. Ernie Chavez, 95.7 The Game Doobie Award winner. What's up, Ern Dog? Vivek is positioning himself to buy the team. He's hoping. What, so it could be the Sacramento A's? Okay. I don't see that happening. I think John Fisher, Dave Cavill, they want to be in Oakland. I think Rob Manfred wants a franchise in Oakland. It would have made more sense for an expansion team. I mean, just ask the Las Vegas natives. Ask the Las Vegas natives that are also baseball players. I don't know, one of the faces of the league, Bryce Harper, who actually grew up an A's fan, an Oakland A's fan. He was like, yeah, they should have an expansion team. The A's should stay where they are and build a new stadium. Thank you, Bryce. Wow. Common sense. Loves the fans over there. Wow. It's not the fans' fault? That's crazy. I mean, Dave and John and Rob told me it was the fans' fault. No, it's you not investing in your team and thus not investing in the community. If you build it, they will come. If you build a good team, we will show out. We will show up. Look at all the playoff games. Packed, sold out every single time. Is it going to be a little barren on a Monday or a Tuesday against the Colorado Rockies? Sure. But if you built a team, hey, if you kept a Matt Olson, if you kept a Sean Murphy, as Oreo Cookie said, if you kept someone that he could buy his 13-year-old son a jersey for, yeah, maybe I would go to that game because I want to see a Marcus Semien or a Matt Chapman, Olson, Sean Murphy, Josh Donaldson, Sean Doolittle. Do I need to keep going on? Josh Reddick, Jason Giambi, Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, Mark Mulder. The list goes on and on and on of guys you should have kept. And I can't wait to see when whoever the next young hot shot for the A's will be. If it's Zach Geloff, if it's someone else, it's not going to be Esteury Ruiz, who should be up with the big league team when they eventually trade him. And they're in Vegas. Oh yeah, well, we just got to start another rebuild, I guess. We're not going to build around this guy. Because a cheap owner is a cheap owner, whether it's in Oakland or it's in Las Vegas or if it's in Timbuktu. Cheap is cheap, no matter what. 888-957-9570. We're up against it. Pick this conversation up on the other side. Plus, a former 49er has signed to the new squad. And why? I'm starting to question a certain position group for the 49ers that hasn't been questioned in quite some times. We're going to discuss that on the other side. It's the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain.
This is Tim Roy, and you're listening to the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game.
Thanks, Tim. Tim will be on the call tonight, right here on 95.7 The Game. 5 o'clock tip. Warriors Rockets out in H-Town. Maybe Chameleonaire will be on the sideline. Paul Wall. I don't know any current rappers, so I've been out of the game for a minute. I have a spirited discussion off air right now. I think they're still having it. I think I can hear him in my other ear. Shout out nice guy Stephen Langford, KCBS, formerly of the Pregame Show. Just talking about markets and viable markets as the news is getting leaked out that the A's are looking to play in Sacramento and probably going to be playing there the next couple of years after this final season in Oakland. Vivek Ranadive welcoming them with open arms. Hey, come play in Sacramento, do all this. People are thinking it's, he's trying to sell Sacramento as a market to Major League Baseball. I think it's a bad look when you were supposedly the savior of Sacramento and a market that was going to die as a sports market, and now you're bringing in another team that is leaving a dying sports market and crushing a fan base, and you're going to welcome that team and that slimy owner with open arms. I think that's fine. All these owners and billionaires are all friends with each other. I get it. I just think it's a bad look. I do. Will I be going to Sacramento A's games? No. I will not be driving, go to a Sacramento A's game. Maybe there are other people that will. 888-957-9570. Hit me up if you want. But I just think it's a tough sell. Oh, God, it gets hot out there, too. Gets hot. And I'm questioning the benefit from Vivek on this. I understand trying to sell the market to Major League Baseball, but I just don't see Sacramento as that market. I don't. San Jose, maybe. Sacramento, no. I don't see it. Personally. Basketball is one thing, baseball is another. Definitely not football. Maybe arena football. Shout out to Sabercats. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all of you on the Xfinity mobile text line. Call or text there. 415. Breaking news. The Giants have blocked the A's relocation to Sacramento, exercising their territorial rights over the entire Northern California. Chuckle. Ha! Seriously. No, they want this. They will try to expedite anything that gets the A's out of Oakland, out of the Bay Area, and then out of this market because they want to own it. And that's the Giants. That's what they want to do. That's fine. That franchise, they blocked the A's efforts to move elsewhere. They didn't want them to after the A's, waived territorial rights for them to help them out way back in the day. Giants didn't reciprocate the favor. But you know what? As we've learned about the Giants and their ownership and all that, don't think very highly of them. I'll just leave it at that. 888-957-9570. An owner that I do think highly of, and I think is brilliant, and I think that understands a fan base, and at least tries to understand a fan base, and wants to win, is Joe Lacob and the Golden State Warriors. And they're trying to end the Houston Rockets season tonight, which is basically already over, but just put a stamp on it, if you will. Now, Stephen A. Smith, who Joe Lacob likes to listen to in the morning, loves him some Stephen A. He was talking on First Take why he believes the Warriors can still make a run. Take a listen.
There's a collection of individuals that's shown up, and I'm looking at it from that perspective. Your ability to shoot, your ability to score is one thing, but what was the ingredient to the Golden State Warriors' success throughout those years? Defense. They played defense. And that is what they are doing now. They are being effective with it. They now have a 3-game cushion on the Houston Rockets, so they don't really any longer have to worry about being in the play-in. They've got 7 regular season games left, 4 on the road against the Rockets coming up, against Dallas, against the Lakers, and against the Blazers. I believe they'll win at least 2 of those games. They got 2 games against the Jazz at home. I think they'll win both of those games. And, of course, they got a game against the Pelicans. I'm just looking at the Warriors right now. Anytime you've got a superstar who can explode and you have shooters surrounding him along with himself, and they can hit free throws, you cannot ignore the potential impact they can have.
That wasn't as convincing as I thought it was going to be from Stephen A. You could not ignore the potential impact that they could have, the Warriors. Well, of course they have Stephen Curry. Outside of that, though, am I fearing Andrew Wiggins? He's been playing better. He hasn't been consistent enough. Klay Thompson, we'll see. Is he going to be coming off the bench? Well, Anthony Slater doesn't seem to think so.
I don't think so, because even before Kuminga went out, Klay had been moved back into the starting lineup. So I think just the way Klay's shooting it, the spacing that they need, particularly if, they want to go 2 bigs, or even if they want Kuminga and Draymond on the floor together, just the spacing that Klay provides with the way he has been shooting it over the last month and a half. I just think Podziemski's sitting in that higher usage bench role. And Klay, my guess, and again, is Klay is your starting 2 guard the rest of the season.
And what does that mean for Jonathan Kuminga? Again, he's the X factor. Can Jonathan Kuminga, and I don't know if he can do this off the bench, but can he solidify himself as the number 2 on the squad? See, I think he needs to be starting because he's the future of this team, and I need him to be in that starting lineup against the big boys all the time. I need to see what this guy is made of. I didn't get to see him in the playoffs last year. And I know it was a long thing. You went to CJ Holmes, who at the time was at the San Francisco Chronicle covering the team, voicing his frustrations, his lack of playing time. I need him in a play-in against LeBron James and co. Against De'Aaron Fox, against Kevin Durant, all those guys. I need the size, the speed, the athleticism of a Jonathan Kuminga. Desperately. He sets a tone. And yes, he is still raw. He will make mistakes, but you know what? He needs to start making those mistakes in the playoffs and learning from them. Hiding him and him coming off the bench, I don't want that. I don't want that for him. I want him to know that we believe that he is the future of this team and to give him that confidence. I have a guy already in Andrew Wiggins that has been playing well at times. Again, at times. But has shown who he is. He's inconsistent. I'm banking on the future of Jonathan Kuminga way more than I'm banking on the future of Andrew Wiggins with this team. It's not even close. And who strikes fear into your heart outside of Stephen Curry? When they're on their A game, honestly, Jonathan Kuminga strikes a little bit of fear in my heart if I'm an opposing fan base. His athleticism, his willingness to go at your other team's best player at times. Now he'll look foolish. He's young. He'll get cooked occasionally. He'll have some bad turnovers. Guy's what, 21, 22 years old? Let him learn. You're not winning a championship this year. Well, it's easy for you to say. I mean, they still think they're a championship team. Great. You also have to think about the future of this team. And that's Jonathan Kuminga, not Andrew Wiggins. Nick Friedel, cousin Nick, formerly of ESPN, now our Odyssey NBA insider, joined Steiny and Evan yesterday filling in for Guru. Find the entire interview on YouTube. Also download the Odyssey app. You can find it there. Here's Nick talking about the Warriors not being able to strike fear into anyone's heart.
This is just a team that has not been able to put any consistency together. They can't seem to find their way. And I don't see that changing as we get set here for whatever the postseason may be for them. I mean, they may well get out of that play-in, and they're certainly not afraid of Minnesota or Oklahoma City. But this is not the kind of team that strikes fear into anybody's heart at the moment. I thought they'd be better than they were. Still think they're going to have a lot of major decisions to make over the summer. But as I watch them not only now, but you look ahead into the future and the contracts they have on the books, I don't see any kind of major fix on the horizon. And that's sad, obviously, for a variety of reasons for Warriors fans, but especially because Steph is still playing at the level he's playing at.
Cousin Nick, keeping it real as he always does. I love Nick because every single market he has been a part of and covering, whether it's been in Chicago, whether it's been in the Bay Area, New York, he somehow, some way gets that fan base to hate him because he keeps it real to me and he has opinions. He's the nicest guy ever. He's never malicious. He never attacks anyone. He asks hard questions, specifically to guys like Kyrie Irving and Kelly Oubre, and they don't like it. That's fine. That's his job, though, to ask the hard questions. And too many people in today's society are afraid to do that. They want to be buddy-buddies with the players. Everything's all hunky-dory. Please, miss me with that. Being best friends with the players. What happened to being objective in sports? That's why I like Anthony Slater. He is the perfect guy to cover a team. He'll get the inside scoops. He'll get all that he needs to. He'll keep it distant. You have to have somewhat of a relationship. But he can't be afraid to publish certain articles, to question certain things about certain players. That's what the best ones do. Speaking of the best ones, Joe Shasky, Bonte Hill, Steve Kerr, 7:30. Morning Roast, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM.